You have to challenge your body in order to change your body. When I was 65, I was 50 pounds heavier. I had difficulty getting off the floor. I was on the treadmill to nowhere and realizing it didn't work. I did not have the energy. Once I started working out in the gym, my body changed, my confidence level changed.
It is never too late to start your fitness journey. Gail is a testimony to that. She has just inspired us to really realize it's never too late to get started. My name is Diane.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode at Bloom. Before we get started today, I want to recognize that today is Memorial Day. We want to pay homage and honor of service members who have given their ultimate sacrifice of their life for our freedom. We also want to acknowledge that there are loved ones and family members of those service members that are continuing to grieve their loss today. Our heart pours out to you. We are with you, and we just thank you for your service. It also goes to show that today, this discussion that we're about to have is an immense privilege, and it's an honor to be able to discuss fitness, not only in general, but with an amazing woman who has showed us that no matter where you are in your stage of life, you can accomplish and do great things. Our next guest, Gail, is a personal trainer. She discovered her love for fitness at the age of 65, and it's so amazing. She has transformed not only her life, but she has dedicated her life to transforming the lives of others. And at the age of 73, she is still out there looking better than ever. She is my inspiration whenever I go to the gym to make sure that I'm always feeling good, looking good, and more importantly, my mind is healthy and stable. And so I just want to welcome Gail and just bring her out. Miss Gail, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. You are so flippin' adorable. I just fallen in love with you. Absolutely. You're wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, this is a treat. Thank you very much.
You know, I truly mean it. Being able to see you every day, you know, in the gym is it's an honor. It's a privilege. And I think about you a lot of times when I don't feel like going, you motivate me to go. I don't think I've ever told you about that. Because I'm just like, I need to put myself and make myself a priority. And this Gail is out there. You're leading from the front as a personal trainer, helping develop the lives and the bodies of other people. So I just thank you for what you're doing. So for people who are not familiar with you or who have not had your training program as of yet, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and some unique experiences that you may share?
Certainly. I kind of bounced all over. I'm a New Yorker and then moved to Detroit and then moved to California and then ultimately landed here in Huntsville, Alabama, which I've really actually amazingly really have enjoyed it. It's just been a lovely, lovely location for me. Yes, it's been a good spot and a very friendly and warm place, which has been also very good. And I did have the opportunity to start actually becoming a trainer here. When I was in California, and again, about the ages. When I was young, I was never an athlete. As somebody recently said to me, he said, you know, this isn't my first rodeo. And I started thinking about it. I thought, you know what? This is my first rodeo. I've never done anything like this before. When I was young, I was slender, but I was never an athlete by any stretch of the imagination. I was the kid with the book and the broom and that kind of stuff. At any rate, menopause, putting on the weight, the waistline, you know, the whole thing. I mean, it happened. And about the time I was about 65, you know, you go to the doctor and you start watching those numbers starting to change. They were starting to go up. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, this isn't good. And I had a grandson and I wasn't able to get on the floor with him as easily. And so I'd gotten to almost 200 pounds and I'm 5'7". And again, just, you know, everything just kind of started talking to me. And I'd go to the gym, fine, and I'd get on what I now call the treadmill to nowhere. The reality is it doesn't work. It didn't work for me. You know, you get on it, you'd be bored. I mean, all it does is make you maybe a smaller version of a fat you. I mean, it really doesn't work. Anyway, I was watching a series of classes. Again, I'm out in California, a series of classes that were taught by trainers, which were not your typical classes. They were definitely more kettlebell and battle ropes and that kind of thing. And I thought, well, wait a minute, something's going on here. You had to pay extra for them. And I thought, okay, I'm jumping on that bandwagon. So I started doing that. And then one of the trainers said to me, okay, you've gone pretty much as far as you're going to be able to go with this. You might want to seriously think about personal training. So you get into the weight room. Never occurred to me. That was not a phrase I'd ever thought of. I just not something. So it took me, a few days to kind of grapple with that. And I went ahead and I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. And I signed up with him and just started training. He happened to be one of the bodybuilders that was doing shows and stuff like this. So,
wow.
Yeah, he was a big boy. He was like your husband, one of these men that's just like, you sit there and go, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Anyway, yeah, you ought to see your husband. I mean, he's amazing. But
insert pic.
This is why they have beautiful children, I'm telling you. But anyway, so I started working out with him, and then I started really looking at the food and the diet and the way I was eating, and realized that, Starbucks in California on every corner. Yeah, I'd drink the black coffee, nothing in the coffee, but I always had the low-fat blueberry muffin, realizing now that that's the one that was doing it, never thinking. So researching all the food stuff, really getting into the weight room, pumping iron, getting serious about this. And suddenly, all the difference in the world. So by the time I left California, my grandson was 12, and I was, 68 or 60, whatever I was. At any rate, I was taking him to the gym, teaching him how to box, teaching him how to pump iron, and teaching him how to flip tires. They had those huge, massive tires, and we would get out in the back of the gym and we'd start flipping them. And I thought, dang gun it, how many kids have a grandmother that's teaching them how to flip tires? So it just felt really good, liberating, exciting. So, and I came out here and I got lucky that I found Anytime Fitness, and Diane Snell said, come on board. We need you as a face of a senior. And it was a great move in every way.
It sure was. I'm sure it is. Every time I go, I see, a whole community of seniors there now, throughout various times of the day, 77, 82. And
Absolutely.
I am so inspired by it. I think back to my youth when my dad, rest in peace, when he was living, he used to every Sunday go to the nursing home and visit the elderly and the sick and shut in.
Oh.
And that had became, almost like that was the norm for you getting to be in your 70s and 75s and things like that, or at least in my world from what I thought. And, my dad, he always taught me to respect my elders and be appreciative and honor them. And, I just love it. It is a treat. And I'm so glad that Diane and you created this circle of women and men, in a senior community. And it is just beautiful. It really is. It's really beautiful.
Well, it's exciting, too, because we have men like your husband. We have, for that matter, you. I watched you work out and I'm like, oh, yeah, she knows what she's doing. She's good. You are amazing. So we got women and men that are just very much into, doing it. And then we have the other, and in fact, I go back this afternoon and I've got my gal who's almost 86. She's had a stroke. She's had back surgery, but we're still I checked, to make sure that our doctor said it's okay to have her arms over her head. So we work on pull-ups. We work on push-ups. Now it's not on the floor push-ups, but, up against a wall or up against a bar. So, she's working the muscles. She's gaining her strength back so she can be safe.
Yes.
And that's the whole key. That really is the whole key. So that's the exciting part of a gym like that.
And I think that's the part that a lot of people fail to recognize throughout your whole fitness journey. It's important to be knowledgeable and make sure that you're being safe so you're not injuring yourself. It's not all about just lifting heavy weights and doing things like that. So Absolutely. I love that you just mentioned that.
Yeah.
So tell me also, how has fitness changed your life personally?
Things like this.
Yeah.
Would this have happened? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's literally has been things like this. You saw a brief little tidbit there of the Silver Sneakers video, which is an amazing that opportunity. And these people came, Silver Sneakers came, and they just were there for 3 days filming with this whole big gear. And I mean, it was just like, oh my gosh, you're kidding. I have been on television, local television. I've been the local news. I've had, because again, I don't want to say I'm special, but it's unique. Or as a friend of mine says, Gail, you're a unicorn.
You're special.
Anyway, but
Yeah.
it's been so. And okay, as I'm sitting here talking and I'm watching my hands bounce around, I have energy.
Yes.
And I mean, how that's what you want. I have the energy to do this. I train myself. I train clients. I'm also a docent down at the Art Museum, a tour guide for the art. I also usher down at the Von Braun, the usher for the theater and the symphony and the ballet and all. I have the energy to do all of this. I mean, I will tell you, I do take naps. Oh my gosh, I swear by them. I take naps because when you work out this hard, you have to. But it's just been such. My life has, I think, has become unusual.
Yeah.
In that, because I can do all this stuff. I choose what I do. Yeah.
There you go. You choose what you do. I love that. That's a very empowering statement right there. And I think we have some photos of you too that we're going to share.
I love it.
Some good photos. And, and what is you all that's out there, if you all have any questions, feel free to, add your questions to the chat box. This is a very important discussion for many of you all. Let us know where you're, signing in from, where you're having this discussion from. We would love to engage with you. So let's also continue. Can you tell us what are some of the benefits of strength training, especially after the age of 60? Why is this an important mission of yours?
It is the muscle. It's having the muscle for the bones. I'm not going to say that you're going to reverse any bone loss at this stage of the game, but if you can prevent it from getting any worse, that's huge. That's so important. Okay. Also, one of the first types of muscle we lose is what they call the fast twitch or the quick muscle, the ability to keep yourself, if you start tripping, over that dog toy or whatever, to be able to catch yourself, that quick response muscle. And then that was, thank you.
Yes. I mean, you look amazing.
You did good, kiddo.
You did good.
You did your research.
I want people to see what I'm talking about when I say you are goals for me. You're goals for me now. But even in my 70s, I want to have as much energy as you and look as amazing as you. I mean, this is awesome.
Well, thank you. Now, this was right, and this is interesting too. In fact, I was just talking to your husband earlier today because this was taken right after we had lockdown. So I had come back and I lost about 15 pounds and I wound up jumping on, we have an in-body machine which checks not only your weight, but it checks your the BMI, which really isn't all that important, but your percentage of body fat, and it checks your muscle, how much muscle you have. And I had lost a couple of pounds of muscle, plus I had lost weight. And so I even look more slender, and stuff like that. And wow. Today was the first time since then, and that's been about 9 months, that I hopped back on. I thought, for the podcast, let me just hop back on the machine because we have it there at the gym. And let me see where my muscle is. And I thought, I was, because I don't think I've worked out any more than I had pre-pandemic, because you can only work out so much. I mean, believe me, like I said, naps are treasures. But what was interesting is that probably around that point, I was down to about, it's showing here about 141 pounds. Now I'm up to about 147 pounds. But my muscle mass had gone from 58 down to 56.4. in what they call skeletal muscle. And I hopped on it here 9 months later, and I'm up to 60 pounds of muscle. So I have increased. Yes. So, and people should know that as you age, you're losing your muscle. And to maintain is a thrill. To gain, oh my gosh! So, and I was showing it to Sean. I was like, oh my gosh! I was in shock that I had gained good 6 pounds of muscle. That was, to me, phenomenal. I kept thinking, what was it? At a doctor back in California, whenever I'd go in and see him, he would always say, okay, now what did you do different? And I thought, okay, that was a good question. What did I do different? Because I kept thinking, I didn't really change my workout routine that much. So, okay, yeah, that's there. Protein.
Ooh.
It was the protein. I am so convinced because I really upped my intake of protein. I was good before. I am that much better now. And that is what that's what has increased the muscle. So
that's phenomenal.
It was one of my aha moments. And I thought
that's a very good segue into my next question for you. Before we do that, I want to check in. I want to thank Angela Holmes for being here. She said, good pointer, maintaining what you currently have is important. We have Miss Jean Meadows. She said, you're awesome, Gail.
Trained Jean, yes.
Jane Flowers. She said, I'm from Canada.
Yeah, she would be a wonderful friend of mine. She's up in Canada. Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. We have Rita Norton,
Oh, yes.
Truly inspirational. Yes, you are. Debbie D. Black Newton says, hello, Bloom. Thank you so much for being here. Sean, of course, as you have gone, you know that perfect personal experience.
Yes.
Everyone's saying you look good. Jackie Hurd, thank you for being here as well. Yeah. Okay, so my next question, you touched about your increasing your protein. Can you tell us what the importance of nutrition is when you are trying to make a lifestyle and fitness change such as the one that you have done?
Again, it's huge. It was back to go to Starbucks and you drink the black coffee thinking, oh, okay, I'm doing the right thing, but it was the blueberry muffin that was getting you. Once I started becoming really, really aware of the way we need to eat for the body versus emotional eating and all the other stuff reasons why we eat. Huge intake of protein. We do as a nation, we eat a lot of protein, but now how much quality protein might be questionable. And I'm not even going to try and second guess how much I eat, but I probably am somewhere about a gram of protein per pound that I weigh, and you figure I'm almost 150, so somewhere in that range. So yes, I supplement. In fact, right now I'm drinking a cup of coffee with some protein powder in it. I mean, I do a lot of that. I mean, I do. You have to. I don't think you could eat that much protein. That's a lot. Yeah. Fiber, huge. Our nation is absolutely fiber poor. I mean, what did I read? Something like 5% of our population is eating enough protein daily or enough fiber daily, which again is your fruits and your vegetables. Oh, it's really, really bad. We're eating processed foods. We're eating stuff that's already mushed up for us and cooked up for us. We're eating, so we need to be eating much more fiber. And it's amazing. I mean, yeah, the fruits and the vegetables and but there's always chia seeds. There's a lot of other ways. Looking at the label on the food, looking at the labels, huge. Or eating stuff that doesn't have a label, like an apple. That's really probably the best thing. Although again, now with fiber, well, both of those, fiber and protein, you have to increase slowly because otherwise you will have a stomach ache. It's guaranteed. Just take it in, add it on slowly, but start increasing it, and you'll be fine. Coffee and protein. I just saw your husband's comment.
That's a perfect combination.
Not only do I throw the protein, everybody would be disgusted by the coffee I drink. I do the protein in there. I throw in collagen powder in there, and I throw in the creatine. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. Everybody would look at it and go, "Yeah, kidding." But you know what? It's good for my body. I'm convinced that what has made the difference as to why I've got this good muscle. Anyway, I always catch notes like that. That just tickled me.
But you're right. Like you said, it's good for your body. And I think that we all have to get to a place where we're feeding our body things that are nutritious.
Right.
That can nurture us. Because there's a huge difference between your energy levels because you're caring after yourself and feeding yourself properly, right, versus someone else who may not be doing the same. And I mean, that is the goal. That's the greatest gift in life, I think, that we can give ourselves.
Well, we're given one body. As one of my other doctors said, I can have somebody cook my meals. I can have somebody mow my lawn. I can have somebody do my laundry, but nobody else can work my body. Nobody else can take care of my body.
Yes, absolutely.
We are responsible for it.
Absolutely. Julie, thank you for joining us, Julie. She says she's loving the tips for extra protein. I agree with you, Julie. That's a great one, too, because I notice when I'm consuming more protein and fiber, I'm not as hungry as I normally would be.
It's very filling. The good fats, the good oils are great for you. I'll grab a chunk of cheese. I mean, they're good for you. This is good quality stuff, and it's filling. And staying away from, and I hate using the word carbs, but I mean, there's carbs and then there's carbs, but we've got to get a better definition of carb, because there's the good carbs. There's the oatmeal, which, I mean, I eat oatmeal every morning. That's my breakfast, and I throw everything in it. But I stay away from the cakes and the muffins and the cookies and the breads, because that stuff, and especially post-menopause, I will tell you, it goes right to the belly. And that's exactly where it lands. I mean, it's just, and last I checked, I haven't checked lately, but last I checked, my waist is about 30 inches, which is not bad for this age and height and, any rate.
That's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Yes, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with where everything is.
Listen, we saw a picture of you in a gown. I hope that we have this picture of you in this gown. So you look phenomenal. Miss Gail had on a backless gown. It was a black one. It just went, there we go. I
mean, yes. Wasn't that fun?
I'm happy with that waistline. You look phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. You really have done a good job of finding stuff. Good for you. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. But yeah, it's all of this has been fun. And once you get into a pattern and you just start looking at food and you just start automatically just going to the gym, it's like any other habit. And it literally just becomes habit. Again, I have no problem going to a birthday party, having a piece of cake. It's just not a birthday party every day.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. So it's, that's how you have to handle it.
You're prioritizing yourself. And, when I wanted to have this discussion with you, there's two things that I knew people would get out of it. People who are interested in taking their fitness to the next level or trying to get into the gym, this is a no excuses conversation right here. This is a throw the excuses out the window, find a way to make it happen.
Right.
That's exactly what your story resonates for me. Another story, another meaning and purpose that I wanted to have this conversation is because no matter where you are in life, in your career, a lot of times, sometimes when we get to around the age 40, we may have the itch to change careers or do something different. Right. And we figure, we're too old. We can't do that now. We have this we have to take care of or that. But I love the fact that you made a significant career change at the age of 65. And even for me, recently I changed careers and became a realtor, which was very scary for me.
Good for you.
Thank you. But, I love it. It's very rewarding sometimes when you do, make a change and you follow your passion. And, like you said, there's so many experiences that you've had recently that you would not have had otherwise. So.
No, absolutely. Again, the pre-pandemic things had been starting to happen. And then, of course, the pandemic hit, and that's fine. And I'm telling you, as soon as it got over, it's like, boom, things are happening again. I mean, it's, somebody said, oh, Gail, your dance card's full. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's a wonderful place for me to be. And I just so thoroughly enjoy it. It's fun doing what I'm doing because, dadgummit, I like the way I look.
I love that.
I'm happy with it.
Yes.
You know, and it's fun when you put on clothes and you go, oh, girlfriend, you did this.
Still got it.
So it is.
And that's enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's the external part that, that part feels great, but then the internal says, I just feel good. It just feels right. And then the fact that I'm able to train people, and work with them and stuff like this. And just, yeah, I mean, it's just been a very positive in every way. I've just been amazed at how good it's worked for me.
Oh,
absolutely.
That's beautiful. I have to ask you, how do you convince people who are 60 and over to actually step into the gym for the first time? Is that a struggle?
I honestly don't know that you can convince them.
Mm-hmm.
Any age. Mm-hmm. Any age. All I can do is be me. And if they see or hear or whatever, maybe it's that slow, steady drip, drip, drip. I mean, everybody hits what I call the oh moment, or the oh my gosh moment, either the doctor says or, they realize, that dress that they love. I mean, whatever it is, there's that point in time. For me, it was the medical, I could see my numbers changing and I'm like, I kind of hit that moment. And hopefully there's somebody out there that can, have that hand reached out for you to be able to say, come on with me. The hardest thing to do, I will tell you, is walk into that gym door the first time. And that is and especially for women my age, when we were told by the doctors, you better start going to work out. Well, everybody heads to the elliptical or the treadmill. What they're doing when they do that kind of cardio on that kind of level, all they're doing is they're eating their muscle. They're getting what's called catabolic. They're just eating their muscle away. They're not. You've been I don't think you've ever seen me on a treadmill. I don't do it.
I have not.
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't. I mean, I do the boot camp classes, and those are those HIIT classes where you're doing that high energy stuff and then you relax in the high energy. A couple of years ago, when I first moved here, I've been here for about almost 5 years now. And my doctor said, let's do the treadmill test, for the heart and stuff like this. And somebody came in and said, and again, I just have never done any of that other type of stuff. She said, oh, you're a runner. And I said, absolutely not at all. And she said, well, whatever you're doing, keep it up. You've got the heart of a 40-year-old.
Oh,
so it's the strength training. It's the weightlifting. You pump iron, when you pick up that weight and you're, that's working your heart and your lungs and it's getting that blood pumping and it's pumping into the brain. You're working your body and it's the healthy way. And again, more and more research is showing the brain health from this. The brain health from doing those high intensity classes as well as strength training. They're realizing that all that blood is getting up into the brain. And this is, the thoughts now are more and more that this will help hopefully prevent dementia and stuff like this. And I mean, I know I'm much more clear-headed, as long as I take a nap, much more clear-headed, by doing all of this. And yes, and respecting my body enough to realize that you do. And actually, I mean, and again, anybody that lifts weights, I'm hoping and understands that when you're pumping iron, you're actually not building your muscle, you're tearing it. It's those micro tears. It's those small little tears. And that's why you just feel, oh. When you sleep is when you're building your muscle. That's when you get your muscle growth. And so respecting your body enough to allow it to grow. And that's where you're going to get it. So
to recover. That makes sense. It's beautiful. That makes absolute sense. So what are your thoughts on holistic solutions for like aches and pains versus like the medical approach?
It's going to be like anything else. It just depends. I mean, obviously, I would say, try as much as you can holistically. Believe me, I know I'm getting to the point where I got the shoulder, the knee, the low back, I've got those issues and I keep working with myself in the gym, trying to figure out, okay, let's see if I do it this way, or if I move that way, or if I do a yoga move this way, that type of stuff, slowly trying to, build back up. And again, after the pandemic, a lot of us were sitting down an awful lot, and it's hard. It's so hard on the body. So as much, again, I caught another article recently, and they were talking about how ground flaxseed, not the whole flaxseed, because that just goes right through. You need to have it. But anyway, the ground flaxseed, it can help with blood pressure.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, it's just, again, the internet, again, it's like anything else, bad, good, finding your sources, the Mayo Clinic, that type of stuff, finding the good sources for your information. And, sometimes, my theory on that, something like that, is experiment with it, see if it works. Maybe a couple of tablespoons of flaxseed a day might make the difference, as well as, the exercise and pumping iron and stuff like this. So there are alternatives to a lot of things. It's just, again, just depends. I hate to see somebody having surgery if they don't need to, or if there's some other way of doing things, or, and certainly, I'm, again, part of it, I know I'm lucky. I was born with some good genes, but I also am smart enough to know what to do with them. I'm not on any medication at all. I don't take anything. Wow. The only thing my doctor has told me is vitamin D, and I do take my vitamin D, and I go ahead and I take because again, as we're aging, we don't absorb as much as we used to. Again, more protein, because we don't absorb the protein like we used to. Finding a lot of seniors are malnourished, and it's not so much that they're not eating, it's just their bodies are not absorbing like they used to. So I do go ahead and I take, supplements like the vitamin, pills and stuff like this. But keeping an eye on that kind of stuff and being aware that, again, as we're aging, we're just vitamin D. I can stand out in the sun. I could probably get a sunburn, but I don't know if that I could absorb like I used to, the vitamin D, like I used to, because the receptors aren't there. So, again, try things holistically. See what you can do about adding on some stuff, trying things with healthy foods. Again, the full rainbow of foods, huge,
That's so true. It's so funny because that you mentioned that, especially about being on medications and things like that, because Sean is actually, a lot of people are shocked when I tell them this, that Sean is 50. They're always amazed by it, but he takes care of his body. He works out regularly. Yeah. And, anytime we go to the hospital for like a checkup or something, they're always asking, okay, Mr. Lott, what medications are you on? And it's almost like an expectation that by the age of 50, you should be on, 5 to 10 different medications. Yeah. And he is, exactly. He isn't on any. So, I love that your advice is to people, of course, everyone's situation is different, but a lot of times, you can feed and nourish your body by the things that come out of the ground. We just have to look at the things that we're putting on our plate. Are we eating a colorful, balanced meal and things like that? So I think that's amazing.
No, absolutely. No, it's, again, try and do things as holistically as possible and not grab for the nearest. It's so easy to say, oh, go do surgery or give me a pill or whatever. It's just, that's the easy. And as a friend said to me about being at the gym, if it was easy, everybody'd be in here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And nobody's going to say it's easy. It's work. There's days that I'm really tired. It's work. But to me, there's no alternative.
Mm-mm. There isn't.
Yeah.
There isn't. There really isn't. We're still going to continue to do what we do and go into the gym and have a great time. I'm with you. I feel like that is the secret to youth.
Oh my gosh. It is. Well, they know, again, more and more, this type of the food, keeping stress, learning how to handle stress. Nobody's going to say stress isn't going to be there. It's just learning how to deal with it so your body isn't constantly in this high stress, like fight or fight mode. Learning how to deal with stress, and then exercising your body, which actually is a great, especially pumping iron is a great stress reliever. But the more you're doing that stuff, the younger your body gets. Mm-hmm. And again, more and more research is starting to show all that. Yeah. And that's, yeah. And
yeah,
I mean,
I've had,
I was going to say, in the skin, I mean, just from the protein alone, do you realize that, I mean, when you think about that, about the protein, and everybody's like, you know, as people get older, you start looking at their skin and it's like you could scratch them and they start bleeding. Well, you know,
that's a good point.
What's your largest organ? Your skin.
Yeah.
Where's that protein got to go? I mean, you've got to start eating that protein for your skin, if for nothing else.
Okay. If there's nothing else that you take away from this discussion, we have got to up our protein intake. I'm going to look at my numbers and make sure that I'm consuming enough protein too, because you're bringing up some really good points. I need to look back at my numbers as well. My mother-in-law, she said, same here. She's 72. She only takes a thyroid pill because I was requested to have it removed.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
yep,
hi.
there you go.
Oh, I bet she's adorable.
She sure is.
I bet she is. I don't doubt it at all.
The two of you in the same room would be amazing.
We
have Jane Flowers. She said she's hurting, but she keeps on going to the gym. I also want to thank Felicia for being here as well for the discussion today. So I also want to know, in 2019, you did a Panther run.
Yeah.
Very impressive. What made you take on those obstacles?
Well, that was one of those. It was not on any kind of bucket list by any means. It just wound up being somebody wasn't able to go, and there was an extra ticket, and I was asked, "You want to use it?" And I had 1 week. Now it's funny because my sister is a nurse practitioner, and she said, "Oh my gosh, you're insane." And I thought, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And what I did, yes, it was muddy. Oh my gosh. I don't know that, but I'm glad I did it. I did pick and choose some of the obstacles. There were some that I thought, man, the potential of getting hurt was just a little too great. I'm not going to push my luck there. And I wasn't aware that I was on any kind of a timer or anything like that. Well, as it turned out, I don't even know how long it took me to get through the whole thing, but I got through the whole thing, and all of a sudden I was given a medal because I wound up being the old. Yeah, well, there were two of us in my age group, as it turned out, and
that's awesome,
I was literally the oldest female there. And I thought, oh, okay, that was kind of a fun, a surprise. So it was fun. But yes, it was muddy. It was just north of Birmingham. And we had this huge back room area, and all the women just stripped off their clothing, threw them in a bag and threw them away, and just had other clothes, threw them, pajama type things, threw them back on, and got the heck out of there. It was very different, but it was a lot of fun. Yes, crawling around in that mud underneath, at any rate.
Climbing over logs.
All of it. You name it. Yep. It was crazy.
That's amazing. That's amazing that your body is even able to do that and take it there.
And I will say that, yes, that I feel comfortable enough with my body to be able to do it. In fact, back bazillions of years ago, my ex-husband and I used to race catamarans. Now, even though I wasn't what I call athletic, I was always game to at least try some adventure things. And I thought, recently I thought, if it was available to me here, I would, and I know I could. I used to do it in the Great Lakes, so we always had wetsuits because it was really cold. But racing catamarans was a lot of fun. But again, it wasn't, I never played sports. I never did any of that stuff. So stuff like that was fun. But I know now my body could do it. If it presented itself to me, I would do it. And in fact, I keep thinking, I'm ready to go on a windjammer cruise, and I've done enough battle ropes. I could pull in those ropes, and I could do all that. The adventures, and I would have fun. And that's what I like. I like the fact that I can do what it is that I want to do, and my body isn't stopping me from doing it.
I love that. That is the goal. I mean, I think that's the goal for many of us here. That's why we're here, joining in and having this discussion. And, oftentimes, especially as women, once we get to a certain age, sometimes people place limitations on us and try to tell us what we're able to do. Oh, you're 40, you're 50, you can't do what you used to do. And sometimes we believe those things. So, yeah, we really do. But having this conversation with you breaks down all those mental barriers and limitations that other people try to put on us. So I want to ask you, what does it feel like to be an inspiration to other people? The many things that you have accomplished, because you really are an inspiration.
Well, and thank you. I appreciate that. There are so many people out there that have inspired me over lifetime. I just watch so many, especially women. I swear, the uphill struggle sometimes that women have to go through, being told, they got to do this, they got to take care of their parents, they got to take care of the kids, they got to take care of the house, and to still manage to get above all that stuff. I mean, it's just amazing to me. What I do it does feel unique in so many ways. And I'm not saying I'm by any stretch of the imagination, am I the only one, because I know there are others out there. I think the uniqueness in my situation is the fact that I wasn't athletic and the fact that I did start as late as I did in life, and that kind of a change that has happened. So that part, I use that as my little elevator speech, and it's just, and I think I want people to know you can do it. It is, it is a mindset. It is going past that fear. And I know it's fear, believe me. Not only walking through the gym door the first time, when somebody signs up with me to be a personal trainer, I get them in like the next day, because I will tell you, there's nothing more fearful than laying in bed that night going, what the hell did I just do? Did I sign up with a trainer? I'm going to die. Somebody's going to, this is just like stupid. So I get them in ASAP so that they realize that they're going to be fine. They're really going to be fine. They're not going to die. They're not going to hurt. They're not going to be in so much pain that they can't get off the toilet. They'll be fine. But it's there's been enough stories out there, and there's been enough. It's just intimidating. And again, women, especially women my age, we were never in a weight room. I went back to my high school, my 50th reunion several years ago, and all of a sudden they have a weight room in the school. I was like, oh my gosh, what a cool thing. Absolutely. I love it. I was like, this is wonderful. Would I have done it then? I don't know. Did girls do things like that then? I don't know. Everybody's, again, I've heard, I know everybody's heard this. Oh my gosh, well, I don't want to get big and bulky. I'm afraid of having big pecs. I'm afraid of being, massive and huge. I don't.
That's not feminine.
Yeah. And I like the way the clothes fit on me now. I like the fact that, I've got shoulders that look nice, but I'm hardly, I don't take any steroids, and I'm not at the gym 12 hours a day. And I didn't start when I was 15 and building up. So yeah, it's not going to happen. I know somebody said, I don't want big pecs. And I'm like, I've been trying for so long to get big pecs, and it's just not happening. I want them. It's not there.
I think we have a short clip that we could play too of some of your workouts. They're definitely top notch.
Oh, I love it.
Your training sessions.
Yes.
There's 4 plates on there, and then Gail is standing on top. Miss Gail is standing on top.
There's Risa. Well. I love it. Oh, and there's Missy. Oh, beautiful.
Yes. That is phenomenal. So what would you say is your next challenge that you want to conquer? What are you looking forward to next?
I don't know that there really is anything. I'll be honest with you. I just I just keep rolling with things. Whatever, I think I like to think I've reached the point in life where I know what I'll say no to, and I know what I say yes to. This was something that interested me, so I said yes to it. I mean, I guess I've had just enough experiences, maybe when you're 120, you really get enough. But so I don't know. I mean, I've got so much going on, and the museum is keeping me very busy. I'm constantly having to learn new art exhibits. It seems like they have a lot of exhibits coming in, and it's like, oh my gosh, I got to learn all these artists, which is great. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful fun to that. The one that I enjoy doing also is, again, ushering down at the theater and the symphony and stuff like that. Doesn't take a whole lot of brain power for that one. I just hand people programs and help them get to a seat. And it's like, okay, and then I get to enjoy whatever it is, the ballet or, whatever. Yeah, it really has been. It's been fun. But whereas I have homework for this and I have homework for the museum. This stuff has been fun because I have such a good solid base now that everything I learn, and I do research this constantly, and I'm constantly just doing these little tweaks to this fitness world. The museum world is a whole different. That one, I feel like I'm opening up a door constantly. It's just a lot of stuff. But again, I've got the ability, because my brain is nice and healthy, so I can actually do it. So it's fun. So anyway, the upshot is, at this point, I don't have any particular goals. I'm just going along and enjoying the fact that I'm retired from quote unquote regular work. I get my pension and Social Security, which I call my allowance. And that's another thing. And I do tell all these young people, I said, do everything you can to stay healthy so you can take advantage of the Medicare and take advantage of the Social Security and live as long as you can, to really enjoy them. You don't want to be hobbled over, and you don't want to be having to schlep around. You want to be able to move and enjoy.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that, because there was a recent study that was put out that says humans can live to be 150 years old. And I believe there was a woman from London that reached the age of 122, and she was the oldest person on record. Amazing. So, I just really want to thank you. I think that a lot of times, like I said earlier, sometimes people take discussions like this for granted, but it is really an absolute privilege, especially when you've been in the presence of people who lost their ability to walk, or their mobility and things like that.
Yes.
Just reflect on that, and the fact that you have your body is healthy and whole, and it is a privilege to be able to make a decision to get into the gym and work out, to partner with a trainer, and to take your body and your mind to the next level. Seeing you every day at the gym and all the amazing women and men there, working out is just phenomenal. I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for you that you made this change in your life, because you're inspiring me and you're inspiring others. And I really am grateful that you took the time to share your experience with us here on Bloom. It just means the world.
Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you. I've watched other things like this, but I've certainly never participated in anything like this. I mean, you've made it delightful.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Yeah, it's just been very, I've been very comfortable. Like, we're sitting around chit-chatting at the gym. I mean, how nice is that? I mean, how many times have we all, sat down on the couch visiting with somebody there at the gym. One of the reasons why I like that gym. Don't you feel like it's like a little neighborhood?
It is. It really is. Anytime Fitness in Hampton Cove. If you are in our area, please sign up and register for this gym. It's amazing.
It really is. I mean, yeah. You want a recipe, somebody's got one. You want a cure for something, somebody's got one. Everybody's amazing. So yeah, and this is, and that's how I met, the two of you. I mean, it's been delightful. But no, you're very good at this.
Oh.
No, you. I'm very impressed. Our local Oprah. I mean, you're just No, good for you.
Thank you.
I'm tickled. I thank you. Oh, I do.
It's a dream of mine that finally came to fruition. I've had it for probably about 6 years now, and recently started doing it in the wake of the pandemic. So it is a joy to be able to have these discussions. And I also want to mention, for anyone who's never tuned in to Bloom before, this is a wellness platform strictly dedicated to the enrichment and the empowerment of women. So we have weekly conversations every Monday at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. And we talk about various topics covering health, wealth, beauty, self-confidence, and love. And it's all about empowering women. So if you were able to join us, feel free to like our Facebook page and join in our conversation, our discussion. I'm so grateful for you all for being here with me and with Ms. Gail. Thank you so much, Ms. Gail, for sharing your life story and just sharing your time with us. I truly appreciate it, and I'm sure I will see you around. Thank you again, everyone, for joining. We love you, and do something amazing. Be extraordinary.
There you go.
Challenge the status quo. We love you, and be blessed. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.